Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Before we start, I am a little bit sick, so if you do hear my tone is a little bit different, it's that time of year. So yeah, just throwing it out there. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin's price is once again above 43,000 US dollars. You might have seen over the course of the weekend, Bitcoin's price was like 40,500 or 41,000, something like that. And there were a lot of people on social media and on YouTube talking about Bitcoin's collapse, Bitcoin's fall. And I don't know how we still haven't gotten past that, but a lot of people were making videos about like, is Bitcoin going to fall back to 25,000? Is 12,000 the new number that we're aiming for? And I don't know why people choose to terrify. It's not even scary. It's terrifying other people to the point where you're meant to believe that if Bitcoin moves down a tiny bit, that the end must be near and Bitcoin's price is about to collapse. Markets don't go up forever. They tend to have like little slide backs. It happens in every single market. It happens in the housing market. It happens in the stock market. Things go up pretty high and then they have like a light pullback. It's just how markets actually work. So at the moment, Bitcoin, at least at the time of me making this video, is doing extremely well. It is going up. There are a number of reasons as to why this is currently happening. So, forgive the pace of the video. I'm going to try and get through it as easily as I can. But, it's another one of those things where like 9,000 things have happened all at the exact same time. Another company has applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF. They're called 7RCC Global, and they've submitted a spot Bitcoin ETF application with the US SEC. But this one's lightly different, and so we've seen a lot of companies who've been trying to launch Bitcoin ETFs. Got it. I think we're like at 14 or 15 or something like that. The difference is that a couple of companies have also joined the race, if you will. But the way that they're doing it is like a bit, I don't want to use the word cringe, but it's like different. Where instead of having a complete spot Bitcoin ETF, they're trying to merge it with something else to like kind of slip through the door while saying, well, like it's not a complete spot Bitcoin ETF. We're also dealing with this other thing as well. You've seen some of them trying to say, well, half of it will be spot, half of it will be futures, or they're going to have bonds that invest in other things within the US market, but 12% of it will be Bitcoin, kind of that thing. This one is being proposed where 80% of it will be Bitcoin and 20% of it will be carbon credit futures. For those of you who don't know what that is, the idea is, and I'll try and say it as simply as possible, the idea of a carbon credit is basically a scam that people created a number of years ago to be able to like basically push CO2 into the air. Where basically you can say as a company, we are only going to destroy the earth this much over the course of a 1-year period. And if their projections are lower than they knew that they were already going to be, the additional amount that they would have released, you can sell it to another company who wants to also destroy the earth as well. And that's kind of it's all, the idea is that you use money to be able, you need to allocate money to be able to push more carbon into the air, and therefore the richer you are, the more carbon credits you can buy and the more destruction you can do. That's literally what it is. I remember earlier this year there was a cryptocurrency company who also was trying to like launch a fund like that, and I told you exactly what it was as well. This is why you don't hear about it as much anymore, because the average person understands that like it's just another way to get someone to pay for something that they would already be doing, and to like trying to mix that with a Bitcoin ETF is like, okay, sure, why not? So another company has joined the fray, 7RCC. On top of that, the avalanche on Twitter has been quite dramatic over the last few hours. For those of you not looking at the screen, remember the website, the DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. We heard about them 2 or 3 months ago, where we found out that I believe one of the major companies who's trying, I think it was, I want to say ARK. I don't remember. One of the major companies who was trying to launch a Bitcoin ETF appeared on the DTCC's website, which is usually kind of like the last step before you actually end up getting an ETF fulfilled or allowed. It appears on this website with a ticker symbol that will appear on the stock market. An ETF, an exchange traded fund. It is a fund that is traded on a stock exchange. This is why, the Bitcoin would get to the masses, because everyone would no longer have to use Coinbase or Kraken or Gemini. They'd be able to use a normal brokerage account to be able to get some. Well, the ARK and 21 shares, their spot Bitcoin ETF, is now listed on that website. Remember the initial rush up in price that we saw a month and a half ago or something like that, where Bitcoin's price basically doubled over the course of like a month or two, and because it was another company's ticker symbol that appeared on that website. Well, now ARK's has as well. And it is ARKB 2209, and therefore I believe this is also part of the reason why the price went up, because people have been seeing that the other Bitcoin ETFs have also, their ticker symbols have been appearing on the DTCC's website, which has only led to hyper speculation. You don't appear on that website unless your ETF has basically been approved. That's, it's kind of like going to a website and trying to buy something. You see that it's there. Like, you wouldn't see it on the website unless it was actually able to be sold. That's kind of the general mindset behind it. Also, on top of that as well, I made a video on my other channel, Money Rules, where I had the video like, hey, the dates for the Bitcoin ETF approval have been released. And yeah, they were correct. It appears that the SEC, it says, is going to issue a decision on the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF on the 9th of January. There were a couple of people over the last few months who were announcing that it was going to happen on Christmas. I assume the SEC is on holiday. I don't assume that they're sitting there waiting to like hit the button to be able to allow all of these things to go through. There are like actual dates that are set by the applicator, by the applicant, and by the actual SEC. There's a set couple of months where they can review, air quote, and either deny or actually allow one to go through. And then they also can say, well, we're going to like let it ride basically, and let's see exactly where we end up going over the next couple of months. And that's kind of where we are at that point. So that is kind of the big shebang for the ETF conversation. On the 9th of January, sometimes they've also said like a day before, the yay or the nay. It's usually always been nay at this point. But on the 8th or 9th of January, that will be the deciding day. So leading up until that, everyone's going to have a lot more fervor and a lot more energy simply because it's BlackRock. If BlackRock doesn't get it, the assumption is that no one's going to get it. If BlackRock gets it and basically everyone else can copy their homework and do the exact same thing, it's going to cause an avalanche of people who are going to start having Bitcoin ETFs. And the amount of money that will flow into these ETFs will also affect Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market as well. Also on top of that, for those of you who missed it, I reposted this on Twitter. Bitwise is a company who has applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Last night, Bitwise released a commercial, and it is literally about their Bitcoin ETF. So remember how I told you, like, it was like an avalanche of news that basically came out at the exact same time? The really weird and interesting part is that, now hear me out here, you as a company would not waste money on creating a commercial for something that you did not have or know that you were going to get. They spent money, they made a commercial, it literally says Bitwise, ETFs backed by crypto specialists. The commercial's 15 seconds long. It's a guy having dinner with friends and he's like, hey, you know what's really cool right now? Bitcoin. And he's like, Bitwise, the Bitcoin ETF backed, and it, like, this means that, at least to me, I'm not sure if everyone else has gotten there, this means that Bitwise has known for at least a few weeks, if not a month plus, that they are going to get a Bitcoin ETF. They've been given the thumbs up already by the SEC, and they said, okay, let's make a commercial And like people were looking through it to try and see if it was real or created by someone. It was created by Bitwise. People went to their Twitter page and they posted their own commercial of their Bitcoin ETF before the rest of the world even knows. You understand? So they basically are getting a Bitcoin ETF. It's been decided that at least Bitwise has gotten one. It's, very, it's so many things happening within the last 24 hours. Also on top of that as well, BlackRock has resubmitted. I don't know what the words would be. They've amended. There we go. They've amended their filing with the U.S. SEC. The way that the SEC works is that they look through the paperwork allegedly, and then they say that something within the paperwork is incorrect, not right, isn't working, or needs to be reworded or rephrased. BlackRock has refiled, I think for the third time, re-amended their thing, and apparently they've now been assigned the ticker symbol. There we go again, IBIT. So as you can see, the reason why Bitcoin's price is going up is because basically we are going to get a Bitcoin ETF. If we don't, and this has been one elaborate ruse, golf clap to them. Like a literal golf clap for how elaborate this entire thing has been. It is basically a done deal at this point. I cannot say, I'm not a psychic. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't work for the SEC, all those other amazing things. But BlackRock's spot ETF has a ticker symbol. Bitwise has released a commercial for their Bitcoin ETF, which basically means that they got it. What other stuff was going on in the news as well? Anyway, this is, that's the part of the big shebang. Oh, also the ARK in 21 is officially listed. So it's basically we're going to get one. It is between the next 21 days. That's 3 weeks. Oh, that sounds insane to say that out loud because we've been waiting for decades for this thing to actually happen. Within the next 3 weeks, we are going to have a Bitcoin ETF. And this is why the market is going up. This is why everyone's completely losing their minds right now. This one kind of did it for me. Like this one, I even wrote on Twitter, like this is a bit too on the nose. This is when you make a commercial for something and then release it, you are basically saying, hey, we've been approved. Everyone get ready. And then, of course, everyone is looking into the entire idea of what the Bitcoin ETF's approvals might mean, because there's still speculation that the SEC is basically going to allow the bulk of them all at once. And this is why we're hearing good news from multiple companies. If everything was just BlackRock, it's BlackRock. But as we're getting news constantly about these ticker symbols and, commercials and everything like that from these other companies, it then becomes a situation where the rumors that we had before was that out of, I believe, 12 to 13 applicants, it's believed that 7 to 9 will get approval at the exact same time, potentially on or before the 9th of January. And this will, the moment one of these things gets approved, you'd better believe that we are going to have price predictions out of the wazoo, because the ones that we had before, just on one application, was a $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of next year. Adam Back, the head of Blockstream, says if we get one ETF approved, we are going to have a $100,000 Bitcoin before the halving. What was the other thing? BlackRock has announced that for their spot Bitcoin ETF, they're going to be cash only. It says BlackRock has gone cash only. That's basically a wrap. Debate over. In kind, we'll have to wait. It's about getting ducks in a row before holidays. A good sign. Here's the amendment for it right here. I believe, as far as I understand, the idea of in cash is something a lot easier for the SEC to be able to stomach. The SEC has a very difficult time, apparently, when trying to use anything else but the US dollar as a form of settlement for the Bitcoin ETF in some sort of way. Cool, fantastic, absolutely amazing. It says Bitcoin's price analysis. Can Bitcoin's price hit $50,000 before 2024 as BlackRock's ETF nears approval? Absolutely. It's just a matter of market momentum and market makers actually making a move. This is all but a done deal, at least at the time. What more proof do we actually need that we're going to get one of these, but we're not that far off from 50,000. We're not even that far from 60,000. If we start getting other commercials from other companies, and a lot of people just simply aren't paying attention and then only pay attention once Bitcoin's price goes up, you know, that's kind of something completely different. But we can totally hit 50. We can totally hit 55 and or 60. And like a really strong movement before the end of the year. There might be some pullback on the first, second, or third of the month. But you better believe the rumors are going to get really spicy very fast on the 1st and 2nd of January. As everyone said, Happy New Year. And then everyone starts looking to like, okay, now what happens now? Where are we going? It says BTC bounces 5% as investor says Bitcoin ETF is a 99.9% done deal. You saw the news I just showed you. A lot of people, and bless their hearts, a lot of people on Twitter and on YouTube are basically whatever. Anyway, everyone's making videos talking about that this is going to happen, but they're saying it in a way that they're kind of predicting that it's going to happen without giving any real news. And that's what's usually my issue. It's more of a, man, I heard from a friend of a friend of a friend. And it's like, no, just look at the news. Look at like there's a commercial. They made a commercial. They spent money and got actors and got someone to. So that's basically that as well. What's this one? There's a lot of course, altcoin news floating around right now as far as like where prices are going to go, how high things can be. It says XRP finally bottoms against Bitcoin with an 88% upsurge currently in sight. 88% is a very exact number. I'm not sure exactly how they got there. The news currently floating around is where altcoins are going to go. I saw some articles about a week or two ago talking about that altcoins weren't performing as well as Bitcoin has. For those of you who missed it, Bitcoin has basically all but tripled, nearly tripled just over the course of this year while we were still in a bear market. I did air quotes. You couldn't see them there. And people were saying, well, why hasn't Ethereum kept up pace? Why isn't XRP doing the same? Because, well, the word is a spot Bitcoin ETF. Everyone's focusing on the fact that millionaires and billionaires and trillionaire companies are buying up Bitcoin. It's the word that's mainly in the news. Altcoins will do just fine. Don't you worry your pretty little heads. They're going to do significantly well as well, price-wise, over the course of the next 2 years. It's just more of everyone's expecting the $1 XRP. Everyone's talking about the $1 Cardano. The $10,000 Ether is still in the mist, still in the air as far as where that coin is going to go. The expectations are quite high for altcoins and exactly how much money that everyone's going to make. I say this, and then we can move on. The only thing that the market is waiting for is just the approval of one spot Bitcoin ETF. I am terrified that we have gotten to this point as a market that it is literally Gary Gensler who is allowed to move us up or down price-wise. This should be a market that moves on its own. We should be 2 times the price just with the news that BlackRock, the company that owns everything, is even applying for a Bitcoin ETF. This means that they own Bitcoin and have been collecting. Even if it was just one company that's worth $11 trillion that should have done it. However, everyone needs, for some reason in the market, to see that we have one of these approved. And it's going to get bananas very fast. And I, for one, I will say this after having made videos for 9,500 years is what it feels like when you make a daily video. I'm very excited for this finally to come to an end. I mean it with all my heart and all my soul. It is literally the last thing that we're waiting for. We waited for regulations. We waited for the downfalls of companies. We waited for the securities announcement. We waited for all these different things. The last thing that we've been waiting for over a decade has been one spot Bitcoin ETF. If we get 7, you can't imagine how great that would actually be. This one says top reasons why Ethereum's price could hit 10,000 in the next bull run. It's going to. I appreciate optimism. I appreciate the way that people make articles and or could we do this? but it's like, yes, we're going to. Ethereum's previous all-time high was 4,800. It is literally just a doubling of where it was before. We typically see a 3, 4, 5, 6x from the previous all-time highs. I will not sit here and tell you we're going to see a $20,000 Ether. It's more of a 10,000 is all but written in the stars. I assume 12 to 15,000 is going to be like the final push. Maybe by the end of next year, maybe sometime summer 2025, Ethereum's going to hit 10,000 unless, something has changed in the world. XRP is going to hit its previous all-time high. It'll probably hit $5. Same exact thing with Cardano. It just logically that's how the universe. Yeah, that's all the price news that we have right now. For those of you wondering why prices were moving up, more people are buying because people continuously need good news to be able to buy something that they know is going to do extremely well. I should have saved a screenshot or had my phone closer to me. I can see it charging. It's nowhere within reach. It's not called, is it the Lindy effect? The Eleanor effect? It's I want to say a woman's name effect. Somebody posted on Twitter a couple days ago. And it was basically this idea that people don't buy things. Like it's like a theory, but it's really true. That people don't buy things until they consider them out of reach. And I looked into it and I was like, oh no, that makes perfect total sense. They had examples when I was reading. They said the reason why people tend to buy luxury goods, it's because they deem them to be out of reach. And when you've saved enough money to be able to buy one of the luxury goods, you assume by having this thing that you are therefore then better or more rich or more well off than other people. This is why people choose to, on their own accord, buy like $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 cars. The idea is that if the car was valued or in the lot at $15,000, all of them, like every single model of this car, you would go, oh yeah, it looks kind of ugly. The price goes to $150,000 and you go, oh, this is now something to own. I should have this. It is worth a lot. You equate it with status and elite. The higher ups, only those people can have it. I want to be seen as one of those people. And the examples that they were giving on Twitter had to do with Bitcoin. And it was basically this guy saying, he's like, yeah, once Bitcoin hits $500,000, it'll be seen as something that only the elite can afford. And I was like, of course that's going to happen. Like, of course that's going to be a thing over the course of the next 2-3 halvings. Bitcoin's going to hit $500,000. And the idea of having half a Bitcoin is going to be like, you own half of a Bitcoin. How did you manage to do that? Because then only at that point will it have elite status. Bitcoin hits $10 million. You are, as I said in the other videos, you're the 1% of the 1%. You own, literally, if you own crypto right now, you own more than billions of other people can ever have. If you own an entire Bitcoin, it is mathematically impossible for billions of people to ever catch up with you. The issue is that when the price is only 40,000, people go, okay, Bitcoin's not that high. Let's see how it goes. Bitcoin goes up to 500,000. Everybody wants it, but not everyone can have it. So that's where we just always are as a society. That's all the price news that we have right now. Yeah, let's get into some more other stuffs. So I was not going to talk about this, but I saw what was happening and I need to give you my vantage point. For those of you who have not been with this channel for more than 2 years, and I'll give you a 2 years plus, I'll explain something to you. For those of you who didn't know, I make videos every day. I go over crypto news every day. I talk about crypto news all the time. It's what I do. I'm a crypto newser. I don't think that's a word, but you understand what I'm talking about. Something really interesting happens to the brain when you go over something every single day. It's almost like studying, and these things stick in your head more so than they would if you only heard it once or twice. Solana has been in the news for the last 2.5, 3 years, and it's been one of the weirdest experiences in the entire world because there's so much I'm trying to be nice here. There's so much talk and discussion about this coin as if it's something revolutionary when it's probably. Now, this is my opinion. This is my channel. These are my words. This is what I say. For a coin that is meant to be decentralized with no one in control and to be the best new thing since French toast, this is probably one of the largest scams that I've actually seen within the cryptocurrency space in a long time. And I've said in other videos, that's why I said if you've been here for a couple years, you should know what's coming. I'm not here to make you feel good about what you own. I'm not here to pat you on the back to tell you that the crappy coin that you bought is going to change your life forever. I'm here to give you an opinion based off of the news that I've seen and that I've gotten over the course of the last couple of years. So we're going to start forwards and then move our way backwards. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Solana Saga Phone. The interest in that Saga Phone has soared following a surge in the price of a meme coin called Bonk, B-O-N-K. Bonk is a coin that was created as a joke of a joke of a joke. You had Dogecoin, and then you had Shiba Inu, and then you had Baby Shiba Inu, and then you had Floki Inu, and now you have Bonk. So it's another meme coin of a meme coin of a meme coin of a meme coin. Everyone with me? Awesome. So the news has been for the last couple of years that Solana does stuff and it doesn't work. Solana creates stuff and it doesn't work. Solana releases stuff and it doesn't work. And I saw this all over the place for the last couple of days. And once again, I was not going to talk about it, but I think it's very appropriate to let you understand exactly how we got to this point and why this news is a load of, excuse my French, BS, if you will. For those of you who did not know off of the words that I just said, Solana keeps creating things and they don't work because there's actually no interest for it. You might have noticed since around April, May, June of this year, the amount of articles talking about how amazing Solana is, how awesome Solana is, how exceptional Solana is, how a Solana is going to take over the world, is going to do this. I believe that. I have no proof for it, but I've said it before about a lot of other coins and it ends up being true. Solana looks like a corporation coin. A corporation coin, for those of you who don't know, is a coin that's created by a conglomerate, a group of very wealthy individuals who see the cryptocurrency market and they go, we should create something that basically mimics exactly what Bitcoin is and tell other people that this is the brand new thing. This happened over the course of the first couple of years a lotly when I first got into the space with the Bitcoin Black, the Bitcoin Gold, the Bitcoin Diamond, Satoshi's Vision, you name it. Every single thing that could come out, the Trons, every other coin that should have been another coin gained relative popularity. But this is also around the time when we got the Algorands and the Polygons and the Solanas and a lot of other things like that were clearly made, in my view, by companies and corporations or people with a lot of money to try and say, hey, look at this brand new thing. The problem with decentralization is that if your coin is not decentralized enough, you can procure a large amount of transactions per second. And as the general public does not care about decentralization anymore, it's not a thing that they really care about. As long as you are lightly decentralized or claim that you are, people will love you. That is to say, if you have 5 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes validating transactions, you are, in theory, more decentralized than the Fed, who has no nodes. It's just the Fed in that one building doing as they please. If you are a company that has 16 nodes or 5,000 nodes out there and they say, look how many nodes that we have, and then you realize that a lot of the nodes are actually held by corporations, companies, institutions who also have a gigantic stake in a coin, in Solana, well, that changes things a lot. Solana tried to gain relative popularity once again around 2021, but part of the problem is that FTX collapsed. For those of you who weren't here or don't remember what was going on, we found out that a large reason as to why Solana was even up that high in price was because that the people from FTX held a massive amount of Solana and allegedly were buying a lot more. So it's very easy to keep a coin's price relatively stable and generally scarce if you're holding all of it. By the end of 2021, mid-2022, we started getting news that FTX was relatively insolvent and they needed a brand new way to try and bring money in, you know, from all the creditors and debtors and all the other blah-blah-blabbers, all the other words. And basically, they were announcing that they were going to sell a large portion of their Solana back onto the market. Of course, Solana's price fell because they were the majority holder of Solana. So, of course, them selling a huge amount of Solana was going to drop the coin's price. But then a couple of weeks later, we saw the price beginning to rise again. And people were like, wow, Solana's doing absolutely amazing. And I was like, yeah, no, this is some form of market manipulation because a lot of the people probably behind the scenes who were backing this coin were institutions and companies who had a huge amount of money in this coin, in the creation of this project, and they didn't want it to go to waste. So what do? You start buying up the coins as well to show people how resilient the price is, even though no one is actually using the project. So Solana created a coin called Solana Saga, and the problem is, for those of you who are not reading the article, it says Solana Saga phone bust. Another instance of a failed Web3 device. Yeah, they created a coin. They created a coin nobody wanted. They created a phone that also nobody wanted. I think over the course of a year, I think they only sold 2,500 of their phones. They were expecting 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. They wanted money from the selling of the phones to be able to create more phones and sell them out there, but no one wanted them because it's a project that no one's really using. No one really wants. And what ends up happening is, for those of you who missed it as well in the last couple of videos, is that when these projects and these coins get created, one of the really popular things to do is to say, look at our partnerships. We have so many partnerships. Look at the companies who are built on top of our coin, on top of our chain. Look how amazing we are. The issue is that these companies have a lot of money that they get in the background. And what they end up doing is they end up hiring other people or creating other companies that then become subsidiaries of said company. But usually a lot of the times you won't know that they're a subsidiary. And they basically pay these people to create apps and dApps for them. And then they announce, hey, we've partnered with Meta brand Awesome Co., who is going to be building their things on Solana. That's because they paid these companies and gave them a grant to be able to build on top of a project that no one actually wanted to build on top of. Solana Saga smartphone sales dramatically underperformed despite positive reviews. Have you ever sold anything on eBay or on Amazon? Do you know how easy it is to get 1,000 people to give you a positive review on something, expecting that it will have a benefit for the thing that you're trying to sell? It's quite easy. It's not difficult at all. It's actually even easier with AI and bots than you would assume. Not assuming that they did that, but it's more of a positive reviews mean absolutely nothing. There were positive reviews for years for Bitcoin Cash and Satoshi's Vision and for Tron and for a number of other coins that no longer exist. On top of that as well, for those of you who don't remember, Solana then, I believe a year or two ago, decided that they were going to open up stores in New York and a bunch of other places. Remember what I told you when this thing happened in 2020 and 2021? I was like, well, no one uses the coin and no one's going to go to a Solana store. What? That's crazy. Solana Spaces will close New York and Miami stores 7 months after opening. Nobody wanted them. No one's using Solana. No one wants to use Solana. It's a corporation coin as far as I can tell, where the people who are building on top of it probably, maybe, might have been paid to actually do so. We've seen this across multiple other projects. There's a big difference when you have like a hacker fund, like Ethereum and Bitcoin sometimes do, where they pay companies to be able to like, hey, if you're really good, we would love for you to work for us, as opposed to being like, hey, build something on top of this and then we're going to partner with you. I showed you the partnership list before, but a lot of people get mad because, now listen, when I tell you something, it's not because I'm trying to stand on a plateau and be like, I told you I was right. It is extremely easy to discern between what's real and what's fake in this space. It is extremely easy at this point. I've been through so many coins and so many cycles. I wish I could tell you, like, I wish I could formulate a sentence to let you understand exactly when I see and it's happened so many times before that people keep telling me, why aren't you talking about this coin, TMI? Why is it that this coin is so popular? This coin is getting into the top 10. And I'm like, I'm not talking about it because it's a scam. No one wants it. No one uses it. Then a couple of months later, the coin collapses, it falls apart. The owners or creators or whatever, the people behind the scenes, they get in trouble with the SEC, the ABC, the 1, 2, 3. And I have to sit there once again, like, what if I had promoted that crappy thing on my channel? What if I had talked about it? What if, all these kinds of things. So Solana created a store. It was meant to, like, it looked like a Microsoft store, but like, I think it was purple and, was it purple and green? I forgot what color it was, but it had the very terrible colors all over the place. And nobody wanted it. So for those of you who also missed it as well, and this was kind of like the rotten cherry on top of the cake that I didn't want to eat. In 2021 and 2022, the Solana network suffered a number of outages. Where basically, I believe in 2022, there were 12 or 13 instances where, now this, like, literally, this did it for me. It's one thing for me to not like a project. It's one thing for me to be like, I'm not really feeling it, to get some kind of bad news and for me to personally stay away from it. But every single time that something gets into the news, as this is a news channel, we talk about it in the news. And in the news, we were basically talking about how, like, it was like once a week, every 3.5 weeks, Solana kept on having outages. And they weren't really outages. Like, it kind of just stopped working. It wasn't moving. It wasn't producing blocks. There was nothing happening. You couldn't move. Like, it literally was like the banking system where it completely collapsed. And that let me know that this was from a corporation and was like relatively centralized. You can show me all the news, all the articles that you want about how decentralized it is. Tell me exactly when. Give me clear examples as to the 12. No. As to the four times Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, or Bitcoin had an outage. Please show me the 4 times. And I said 4 because I know 12 is a bit excessive. Once we got to number 10, I remember that video. I was like, everyone's still talking about this crappy project that no one's using. So by the time we got to number 12, I was like, okay, that's it. And then at the beginning of this year, after multiple times, it says Solana network suffers a 20-hour outage. Root cause still unknown. I'm sure it's all the garbage inside of the actual chain. So the issue is, and here's one of my biggest problems, is that despite us knowing how bad this chain is, this database is, because it had to be restarted every single time, you cannot restart a blockchain. You restart a computer. Imagine restarting Bitcoin. Yeah. See, that's kind of weird, right? Imagine if Bitcoin had conked out 12 times in 2022. 12 times Bitcoin just stops working. Would you still be buying or using Bitcoin? Imagine if XRP had one outage. The amount of news about how XRP is the worst thing on the planet, we'd still be hearing about it. It would be as prominent as FTX Sam Bankman-Fried news. Can you imagine if Ethereum stopped working 10 times? So this was another time over the course of this year where it was basically like a done deal for me. And I was like, I don't understand how anyone out there at all has convinced themselves that this thing is a winner in some sort of way. Solana outage triggers ballistic reaction from the crypto community. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure everyone realized, like, hey, that's not how a blockchain works. You don't have, anyway. So all of a sudden, now we're going to bring it back to the future. All of a sudden, after all that news, and once again, that was like 5 tabs. There are thousands of them that I've shown you over the course of the last couple of years regarding Solana and the project. Despite all of that, at some point, Solana ends up making a phone. It doesn't work out. No one wants it. No one uses it. No one uses the chain. Now, there's a difference between using the chain, paying companies to make something to use your chain, and or having whales buy it up on a cryptocurrency exchange. Don't conflate the idea of transaction volume on cryptocurrency exchanges as usage. If you got 1,000 of your friends together and started buying a whole bunch of other coins, you would move the price. That's how you perform market manipulation. This phone ends up launching. Nobody wants it. Everyone's talking about it. It's, okay, cool. It makes a lot of sense. And then all of a sudden, completely out of nowhere, Everyone, as it says on the screen, starts going bonkers over the Solana phone, and I was like, what? What in the world are you talking about? The news was, for those of you who missed it, now here's my favorite part, is that apparently someone sold a Solana phone on eBay for $5,000. Now, I know if you out there have ever sold anything on eBay or Amazon or any other website where you can sell stuff, here's a very simple thing that a lot of people do. Let's say you have a banana. I'm looking at a banana right in front of me because I'm sick and I had to eat a banana. Now, let's say everyone is listing bananas. Tons of bananas. Is like they're $1, they're $1.10. Some of them are $2, and you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Now, let's say you list a banana for $5,000. It gets a lot of people looking at it. Why is that one banana $5,000? You go to the bathroom, you come back, you check, it's gone. That banana sold for $5,000. You sit there and go, well, I guess that banana was worth. Wait. If that banana was worth $5,000. That means the other bananas are also worth $5,000. No. A very simple trick on eBay to push up the price of something that you're selling is to make a listing and have someone else that you know buy it. The reason why this phone allegedly sold for $5,000 was apparently this phone is now chocked full of this new coin called Bonk that no one wanted and no one was using. So apparently Solana phones, as far as I understand it, now have Bonk, the meme coin, inside of them. And because of the meme coin's movement up in price, people are like, oh snap, arbitrage. Let me buy up the phone for $5,000 as opposed to the price of $599, which is also reduced from $1,000, I believe, because nobody wanted it. And now everyone's going crazy over this Solana phone and also Bonk, because they've been led to believe that a sale that was probably fraudulent for $5,000 that was probably orchestrated by someone else to make people believe that this... Does that make any sense to you? That this was listed for $599, but one of them sold for $5,000 because it has a meme coin on it that you can buy on a cryptocurrency exchange? Oh, it does make sense. Okay, so it was just me making sure. It says Saga phone resurgence. Bonk's rise turns Solana's device into hot commodity. I don't know who the marketing person for this thing is, but you have done a very good job deceiving people. It's like A+ across the board, trying to make Solana seem like something that it is not and probably will never be. So you might have been seeing the news a lot recently about Solana's price. I'm seeing an egregious amount of news talking about Solana's going to $800. Solana's going to pass by Ethereum. It's all very clever, deceptive marketing by a few people who are trying to make this project that no one wants. They're trying to make it succeed. No one's using Solana. No one's building on top of Solana except for companies who are probably paid in some sort of way. The project isn't decentralized. It has bonked out, dare I say, over a dozen times. It does not work. No one wants it. No one needs it. No one's using it. They had a phone that no one wanted. They opened up stores that no one went to. And now you're being told that because this phone that was selling for $599 at a reduced price has meme coins on it that are never going to be used. Understand my words in English right now. There is never going to be a time in your life where you walk into a Walmart, a JCPenney, a Starbucks, a Five Guys. I'm thinking of stores, anything like that, where you will say, I would like to pay for this with Bonk. Right. So that's the Solana news that's been going around out there. I needed to give you guys a proper reflection of what's actually going on. Because I saw the news, I thought about just talking about it, and I was like, no. I need to give you guys the full rundown of everything that's been happening with this project, and that was still only like 15%, and that's just the stuff that's actually been in the news. And I tell you this because I know that there are new people listening. Hello, I see all the new subscribers. And I know that there are people who have probably been on the fence about Solana as well. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to have all the information before you do what you do with your own money. Because I've noticed that my entire life, or even I'll even shrink it down to my investment career, the time I've been investing, I've noticed trends, and I've noticed scams, and I've noticed things that just don't sit right with me, especially in the cryptocurrency space. And as you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him invest. Is that kind of thing? Because no matter how much information and proof I can give to someone about something, they'll also create their own ideas about what it is. I told people about Bitcoin 8-9 years ago. No one listened. I told people about Ethereum when it was first released, and everyone was like, it's a scam. I told people that XRP was going over $1 when it was half a cent. No one listened. I say the same exact thing about other coins now, but I make sure just to like literally kind of step back, because it's pointless for me to like give too much energy and try and hold your hand and be like, please do this, because you're going to do whatever you want. And part of the problem is, and then we'll move on, part of the problem is that during a bull run, everyone's a genius. That's the problem that you're also going to come into contact with, is that regardless of the coin, regardless of the project, everything typically, not assuredly, typically tends to rise. So if everything goes up in price and you put your money into a garbage truck, the garbage truck gets more valuable with you thinking that, well, I chose the right thing. But, that's what cryptocurrency cycles are for. So, yes, thought I'd give you all a little rundown as to everything that's been going on and why things have been taking place with that coin. I do sincerely hope that you've all enjoyed. Sincerely that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to be, the next 3 weeks, I think are going to be insane. It has kind of more or less been confirmed that we're going to get an ETF. It's just a matter of when in the next 3 weeks. If this has been one gigantic ruse, one gigantic lie, these people like literally deserve an award after all of this. Created commercials. It's on the DTCC's website. We've heard there have been interviews with Gary Gensler recently with people asking him about a Bitcoin ETF, and he like looks like a shy little animal, like looking away, being like, I don't want to comment on it right now. Because, so yes, 3 weeks is basically the countdown. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.